लॉगिन
तुम्ही तिकडे लावलं होतं का? सुरू केलं होतं कॉल?
तुम्ही लावून आलं होतं तिकडे बंद केलं.
माझी सरांची स्लाईड दिसते.
हां, तू कोर्स केलं का त्यांना?
नाही, मी नाही केलं.
आणि आता स्पीकर तर सुजाता पवार आहे ना.
ओके.
हे कोणी स्लाईड इन्स्टॉल केलं ना?
अमरजीत सरांनी केलं. पोस्ट नसताना पण केलं का? त्यांना करू पोस्ट.
झालं.
अमरजीत सरांनी.
हा, ते करणार आहेत ना. तेव्हा आणि सुजाता पवार मॅडम.
गुड नून मॅम. मॅडम. हॅलो. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Madam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. People are joining yet. अजून कोणी जॉईन नाही झालं. फक्त विविधा मॅम जॉईन झालात सर.
रेकॉर्डिंग आहे ना, ज्यावेळेस इंट्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट करतो ना त्यावेळेस स्टार्ट कर. इनिशियल पासून स्टार्ट होते रेकॉर्डिंग.
ओके ओके.
तेवढं आपलं CEO of Avni Consumer Care Product Mumbai. She is on a mission to facilitate 1 million women detoxing their periods. She has touched over 5,000 plus women across the school, colleges, and workplaces in India through the session on menstrual health. Her venture, Avni, focuses on helping women switch to a period routine which is not just a healthier, but also eco-friendly and sustainable. Through India's first period helpline, community building, and educational initiative, she envisions Avni to emerge into a go-to place for reliable information, support conscious menstrual product. She is a pharmacy graduate and has completed her MBA from Narasimhan Institute of Management Study, Mumbai. She has worked in several pharmaceutical multinational companies. Like Merck, Sanofi, in sales and brand management roles. She has a total of 10 years of experience, and Avni is her third entrepreneurial venture. So on Bharati Vividha Dhapte, Pune College of Pharmacy, I welcome you, ma'am, on this session. She is going to discuss on the process of developing a minimal viable product and identifying market opportunity and fit. Welcome you, ma'am. Over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction. It is very nice to be here today. Can I start sharing my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the slide visible?
Not yet, ma'am.
Not yet. I have started the screen share. 1 minute. I've started the screen share. Now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Now it is visible.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm really glad to be doing this. Nice to get connected, and especially doing this for a pharmacy college. I'm also a pharmacy graduate, so it is always much better to be talking to the people in the community. And I would like to say, actually, just excuse me for my right eye because I'm having a slight infection, so it's looking a little odd. But I did not want to come with a bandage. It was looking much worse. So I thought, let me just keep it that way. So what I'll be talking today is about the process of developing a minimum viable product. There are certain terminologies which we keep hearing when we keep hearing about startups. How to develop a product, how to identify a market opportunity. And then once we have to start up, how to create a lean startup is what I'm going to talk about today, which revolves more about identifying a product, developing it, and then identifying a market opportunity fit. So there are 2 or 3 questions which I wanted to ask, and especially when we come from a background wherein we don't see a lot of business people in our family, or we are not aware how businesses get started and how they scale up. There are certain questions or certain thoughts which we always have in our mind, that or when we are studying in college for that matter, that for starting a business, one should always have a very big and detailed business plan in place, which should have everything in place before even you start developing the product. Second question is, you must have an investor. In fact, at the moment, anybody of you who is tracking the startup ecosystem, you will always see that every day there are news about this company raising this much $1 million of funding and this company raising 10x $1 million of funding. So it's always about the funding and not as much about the ideas or about the execution or about the impact that those companies are creating. So do you really need an investor right from the beginning? Maybe not. Startups are smaller versions of big companies. So if that is true, let us find answers to all of these questions today. Now, to start with, let us first look at the primary, very basic differentiation between what a large organization is and what a startup is. So startup is something that is small, that is just started up. So think of startup as a small baby, just taken birth, taking baby steps, learning how to navigate its way through in this world. So it is, for that matter, a temporary organization, I would say, because for the first 5, 6, 7 years, or till the time you become profitable, you are termed as startup. At least 10 years, maybe first 10 years of starting up. But after that, once you become a profitable organization, or once you have found your business model and you are scaling up, you are no longer called a startup. Then you become an organization. So it's only for a limited period of time that something gets called a startup. A startup is something that is always in search for a repeatable and scalable business model. So most of the times they are always in search, as like, just like a small baby, they're always in the quest of figuring things out, walking, running, touching this, touching that. So they're just about figuring something that is going to work for them. So that again is very similar in startups, where we are finding products which work for that startup. We are finding business models that are scalable. So every startup has their own weaknesses. Every startup has their own strength. So this is something that everybody keeps on finding. So that is why it takes time. 5 to 10 years is when everything gets sorted and you find a model which can be scaled. With larger organizations, you already have that in place because they are big organizations and they are old organizations. So they have taken that time to find out their own model, to find out their own fit, to find out their own strength. And that is how they keep perpetually growing. Startups always keep looking for different models of revenue. Like for example, at Avni, we are in a second year, almost 11, 12 months we have completed in the market. 6 months back, we were actually working on 10 different streams of models of revenue. Now we have cut short down to 5 models. In the next year, maybe we will just keep focusing on 3. So that is how rapidly things keep changing in a startup. Large organizations have fixed revenue streams. Their balance sheet, profit and loss statement are what is an important matrix. When you are a profitable company, when you are a big organization, the financial health of a company is only, you can make that out by just looking at 2 different financial sheets. One is the balance sheet and one is the profit and loss statement. That is more so about it. When you talk about startups, there are a lot of other metrics that come into picture, because profit is not a very important factor at that time. So we always talk about what is, of course, the revenue, that is the growth in the revenue. How many new customers are we acquiring every month? How many people are coming back? What is the repeat purchase rate? What is the lifetime value? So lifetime value basically is, if some customer comes to me now in February, in their entire life, as a customer for Avni, how much are they going to spend, or what is the scope for them to spend it? Is it going to be this one purchase of 500 rupees, or are they going to purchase repeatedly and become a 10,000 worth of customer for me over a period of time? So these are very important metrics in the initial phases, because if once these are in place, then you finally become a profitable company someday. So we keep talking about strategy all the time, that there has to be a business strategy, there has to be a document in place. But there is a difference between two things, and we need to keep that in mind. One is a business plan and the other one is a business model. So business plan is something, and I'll take you through a very important document that every business, every startup has to have in place before starting up. That is the business plan, the canvas. So that's a static document which keeps in place everything that is needed, right from the size of the opportunity to what problem are you solving, what is the solution, what are the kind of forecasts or revenues that you're keeping in place. Now this document is something that will remain more or less static or similar or fixed for your business, because once you have identified the opportunity, you size the opportunity. So that is not going to change. Once you have identified a problem, you know what problem you are solving. So that problem is not going to change every year. Once you have identified a solution, the solution will by and large remain same. What changes is how you take this solution to the market. How are you taking this solution to different people, different places, different geographies, and making revenues out of that? That gets covered in the business model. So once your business plan, your idea, your product, your solution is in place, you can then think about different business models for making revenues, for acquiring customers, and for making those customers buy from you again and again. So this is very important, because these terms are used very loosely these days. Business plan hai kya, business model hai kya, but then these are very specific terms which mean something. So that's why I thought it will be better if I put out the differentiation here before starting. Now, business model canvas, as I was saying, is a very important document which needs to be in place. And this basically is a series of untested hypotheses in a framework. So let me just give you one example. Why did I start Avni? So Avni started with a personal experience. I have been a menstruator for 20 years now. Personal experiences, I have used a lot of pads that are available in the market, Whisper, Stay Free and all. I was facing a lot of issues, rashes, irritation, itching. That is one. When I was studying BPharm, I was exposed to a lot of research that was going on, because we were also doing a lot of research, getting our papers published. So I came across a lot of papers, a lot of research which was saying that the sap or some chemicals while making the pad are harming the reproductive system. So when I took these two pieces of information, that is, I am facing an issue, I face rashes, I spoke to a lot of my friends and they face the same issue. This piece of information, and the second piece, which is these products, the currently available products, are causing harm to the body, to the health of the women, and this is long-term impact. What is it that we can do to prevent this? That is the place where Avni started. So I started looking out for alternatives for myself, but I thought, okay, I search for an alternative for myself. That is one idea. But what if I utilize my management skills, my educational qualification to take this product to more and more women? Because I'm sure others also must be facing the same problem. So this was one hypothesis which I had in mind, that if I am facing rashes, if I am facing irritation, there must be other women who are facing the same. I searched for an alternative. So when I was looking for alternatives, I did not want to leave Whisper and use Stay Free, फिर Stay Free छोड़ा third pad. I thought, let me just try another alternative. So I tried using a reusable pad. I started using a cloth pad because I had used cloth in the initial years of my periods, like the traditionally used cloth. that was comfortable. I searched for more modern alternatives, and I found some alternatives, not in India, but in the US. So I ordered some pads from there. I used them. I felt very comfortable. So the second hypothesis that I made is I am comfortable using a cloth pad. Okay, I am an educated woman. I stay in an urban city. I have a job to do. In fact, I was into marketing, so I used to travel also a lot. Despite all of this, I was comfortable using a reusable, washable pad. There is a chance that there will be more women like me who would want to use a cloth pad. So that is the second hypothesis that we started working on. So just to make the point, these are the various hypotheses which you can put in place once you have identified an issue. So one issue which I identified, I put two hypotheses in place. And this basically, when you put this hypothesis in a framework, it shows how a company can create value for itself, its customers and investors. So this is how the business model canvas looks like. It's a slightly busy slide, a lot of things written here, but this was the first document that we prepared. And this was, I think, some 3 years back. 3 years back when we were just 2020, 2 years back. So basically, when we were just developing our first flagship product, our cloth pad, that is the time I had put this in place. So this actually has 9 different sections. First section is here. You have to look from the left to the right. The first basically is customer segment. I have a product. I was developing a cloth pad. Now, my hypothesis was that women will be interested. But who is that woman who will be interested? So I wrote here environmental and health conscious women and men. Because I was falling into this category. So I thought, let me put this as an important customer segment. Will there be business clients? Yes, it's a sanitary pad. There will always be demand in an NGO or a bulk purchase kind of a market. We can do marketing and distribution agreements with other brands. So these are the probable customer segments which I had put in place. At the moment, we have even more customer segments. We have women from tier 2 cities. We have women buying from us from Sangli and Karad and these kind of districts also. I was thinking I would just have urban women, but I have more women across the country buying from us. Close to 30,000 pin codes we are servicing with our products. Not just women, but men call us on our helpline to ask about the products for their wife or for their sisters. So I started with this, but now the customer segment has expanded a lot, which perpetually will keep happening. The second column is the value proposition, which is here. Now, what was the value proposition that I wanted to give, or you want to give for your product, is something that you will put here. Put everything that comes to mind, whatever works, but otherwise just put everything that you want your product to have. So we had written time-tested traditional ingredients, like bringing cloth, the traditionally used cloth in a modern avatar was what we were thinking of. We are working on some nutrition products which will have traditional Ayurvedic ingredients in them. So that again brings a traditional aspect, time-tested aspect to the products. Innovation is important because if I would have just sold the cloth, a rectangular piece of cloth, then it would have not made any difference. So we innovated to make a modern version of it, how it can fit in the lifestyle of women these days, busy women these days. Plus, it should look nice. It should be functional. It should serve some function. It should help their life get better. Health friendly, of course, because we were trying to eliminate all the chemicals, toxins from the product. Environmental friendly. Now, environment friendly is something that I personally wanted the product to have, because that is my, it's a personal vision that whatever we do at Avni, it should be in line with the environmental aspect, and it should not create more harm to the environment at least. And people should be able to customize the products. That was another value proposition that I wanted to build. Now, once these two things are placed, you think of the channels. How will you reach these customers? Customer segments I have listed. How will I reach? One is e-commerce. It's very easy. We have our website. We can have Amazon, Flipkart selling our products. We can have B2B clients like corporate companies, we can have NGOs, we can directly make women as our selling partners, like ambassadors. So that was another way. Because it was menstrual product, because it was cloth product, we thought we can have a helpline or a phone number, which can be a customer support number, which can again be another channel. Then the other aspect which I thought is, because it's menstrual health, I come from a pharma background, I have access to a lot of doctors, so why not utilize that channel and get the experts talk about certain topics, and we conduct workshops. So that way we can also educate people, make them more aware, and then promote our products in the way. So workshops was another channel which we are even now pursuing. So this is these it can be anything, it can be depending on your product, it can be any other channel also. The fourth is customer relationships. How will you build customer relationships? What are the modes of communication that your customers can reach you on? This is very important in today's date, because people want to stay connected with people they are shopping from. It has become easier actually post-COVID, because everybody has become used to buying online. But 3 years back, that was not the way it was. People were still a little worry of buying online. Second thing is, when I talk about our product, a cloth pad, I have people calling us from tier 3 cities. Somebody who calls me from, let's say, a place like Karad, near in Sangli. So they see my advertisement, they see the website, they see everything, but they are not very comfortable buying online, completing the entire process in English, placing the order. So when they find a phone number on the website, they directly call us and ask us to place the order on phone. So even if we think that people will just ask questions and then go and shop on the website, that is actually not happening. People are using our customer support number as a order placing number. So that is helping us. We started it as just a support helpline, but now we are taking orders directly on WhatsApp. So that is how channels can open up. Emails, of course, is always there. Chatbot is very common these days on websites. So how do you build relationships is very important, and especially the product is very important product. For me, communicating with customers very positively and being available all the time is very important. It is that this is not necessarily for every product that you're trying to sell. Then the fifth module here is how will you gain revenues? Getting sales on your website or on e-commerce platforms. Just medium margin, but it is direct. Everything is in your control. You have your website in control. So you get medium margins because you kind of have to give discounts also sometimes. When you talk about other revenue streams, it can be business clients like NGOs or corporates. They are high margin because they directly give you business. Things come in advance, and most of the times the margins are pretty high. The sixth piece here is key resources. So how, what are the resources that you will need? Primary resources that you will need to just start up also. So you will need a product. Of course, product is under development. But apart from that, you will need human resources, which are primarily into marketing and sales. That was my primary outlook, because we needed to take care of the marketing and sales right from the beginning. Business development is a part of sales again. We've had to have researchers because we were into innovative product space. So we needed people or partners who can help us research new products or innovate and bring certain kind of products in the market. So I couldn't hire everybody, but of course I used my network from the college days, or some companies or agencies which specialize in product development. So I searched for those kind of people and then partnered with them for product innovation. If you're a product company, you need a warehouse. So physically, you need a warehouse and fulfillment operations. Initially, for the first 7-8 months, we used to run all our operations from our house. So order, packing, everything used to be happening from our house. after 7 months, we shifted to a warehouse in Bhiwandi. So there we hired a team of 3 people. So they were taking care of all the operations. So eventually you need that space to take care of things. You need contacts, of course. Network and contacts is essential always in business. Copyrights and patents, because again, we were into innovative products, we always wanted to keep these copyrights, patents of products in place, even starting with the logo. So the logo Avni, even before we launched the company, was we had applied for a trademark. It is registered now. So we need to keep these things in mind. There are certain things that need to be kept in mind even before you begin, and some things that can be taken care of as you launch and start selling the products, once you get some money, once you get some revenues coming in. We started the company as a partnership company, me and my husband. 6-7 months down the line, we thought that, okay, market validation ho gaya hai, we can now take it to the next level. That time we incorporated a private limited company. The 7th is key activities. What is it that the main activities that you will do? Of course, product development research is always going to be a very key activity. Marketing activities are going to be very key activity. Fulfillment of orders is a very important activity, and constant dialogue with customers for taking orders, answering their questions. So these are the key activities that even now we are doing, even after 1.5 years in the market. These are the key activities that we keep doing on a daily basis. Of course, fundraising and networking with other companies, collaborating with other companies, these keep happening on and off. But these major 4 activities are something that we always keep doing. Who are your key partners? E-commerce companies, shipping companies, day in, day out, we work with them, and distribution partners like distributors or retailers. Now, how will the cost structure that? This is the 9th and the last bit, which is what is increasing your cost. So one is inventory, because it's a product company. A lot of our money goes into keeping the product inventory, but we have to invest in that. There's no other option. Product development has a cost. Even for us to develop any particular product, just development cost ranges from 70,000 to 1 lakh. Professionally developing a product, which can be then marketed. Then when we sell to customers through e-commerce or through distributors, there is some amount of money that gets involved there. Warehousing and order fulfillment is where some of our cost gets allocated to. So if somebody, a third person, has to look at this sheet, properly read this sheet, they will get entire information about the business, what we are trying to do, what we are trying to build. And this sheet, the more detailed you make this sheet, the more clear the business model actually gets when you actually start working. So you don't keep wandering around 5-6 different places. You just know which 3 places to focus on. Now we'll talk about value creation. So at Avni, once we identified the product, we created the business model, then we thought about, so I was telling you that, okay, 5-6 things you keep in mind, 5-6 hypotheses, but then you'll need to focus on 3 things that are the most important and that will generate the most amount of revenue for you. So these are the 3 pieces which we decided to work on. The first being asset building. Because we are a product company, it's easy for us to build assets, because product is our asset. The copyrights and patents that we have for the product is our asset. So we try to figure out which are the places where we can create our own products, which can be innovative also, differentiated also, and where we can add more value in the market. So it was core period care. Then there are period care accessories, which are not very well developed in the country. I particularly saw and discussed with a lot of my friends. I tried so many products from the market, they never worked. So I knew that there were places where we can definitely intervene, create better product, and hence create much better business market for us. Third is daily menstrual care supplements. Again, from a personal experience, we have always seen menstrual care products marketed. When we talk about periods, we just talk about 5 days and we just talk about pads. There is nothing else that gets talked about in general space. TVPP, when we see advertisement, it's just about this pad is good for night, this pad is good for day, this pad you can swim, that pad you can run and jog and whatever. But there's nothing that we talk about the other 25 days, because the menstrual cycle is a 25-day, is a 30-day, the monthly cycle. So you just don't take care of the 5 days. You also have to look at the other 25 days, take care, so that those 5 days are much bearable and much better. So there is a lot of menstrual irregularities at sea, but we don't see proper food supplements or proper nutrition related products in this category. So that is another thing that we thought of working. Now, if you see my previous document, you'll not see nutrition as an important part of that document. We always started with cloth pads. That was the first product. As and when we started getting in the market, as and when we started discussing and identifying and researching more what is exactly happening, we realized that, okay, period care products are essential, products that are to be used on the outside, on the skin or during periods. But there is a much important and bigger need for supplements or nutrition products that need to be taken in to be consumed for healing, for period pain, for taking care of heavy bleeding, for taking care of heavy PMS symptoms. So there are a lot of categories that are essential, and we can start working. So menstrual care supplements is something that is just added 6 months back in this entire picture. We had never thought about developing a nutrition product range, but that made sense because the market is available and there was nobody else who's trying to do anything in this market. So that is the evolution. So daily menstrual care supplements, hygiene essentials. Assets, we definitely have to keep in mind, as I mentioned, trademarks, copyrights, because if we have them in place, it makes a lot of difference on the brand value. Second bit is community, because menstrual care space here, it becomes very essential that people talk to each other, because they need help, they need assistance in using the product, or they just generally have queries about my periods are late, this is happening, that is not happening, what do I do? So community building was becoming a very important part, not just from a brand perspective, but it also made business sense. I'll tell you how. So if we make a community, if one woman is using our products, she starts talking about it to her family, her friends, it becomes easier for us to acquire more customers. So we don't have to spend every time to acquire a new customer. So it made sense for us to be in close contact with them, make them have conversations, so that it becomes easier for us to get new business. So from that perspective, also building a community helped us. The first step was having a helpline. So what used to happen is cloth pad tha, so people used to ask a lot of questions, how to wash, how to dry. I'm using a cloth for the first time, what do I do? So I used to keep answering these questions on WhatsApp. So then I realized that there are a lot of questions and people want to talk, just discuss about the product. So it will make sense if we have a helpline and just launch it, like officially launch a helpline, which is accessible 24/7, and we have a team of women to answer it. So that is how the helpline got launched 6 months after we started. And that has actually helped us build a customer base very quickly, because when people see our advertisement on Facebook, okay, theek hai, it's a good product. But when they get to talk to somebody from the company directly, interact Facebook, WhatsApp pe ya call pe, that builds a lot of trust, and hence the chances of her buying the product increase much better. So this is a good customer acquisition channel for us. So if you just look at this, you will see that community building is a good to have thing. Ki, haan, theek hai, we built a community, it's good for the brand. But in a way, it is actually good for the business because it's good customer acquisition. A lot of engagement when we put ads out on Facebook, for example, our ads actually get seen by 10-15 lakh women. There are hundreds and thousands of people who share them, comment there, like the post. Because the category is so specific about intimate hygiene, women do want to talk and share their thoughts about the product. So this is helping us. And that's why we got doctors also on board to help build a credible source of resources, a credible brand where customers see that, okay, doctors are talking about them. And we did not get doctors on board just like that. Most of our doctors who are on board are actually our initial customers. They came to us as customers first, And then because of the helpline, we interacted with them, and then they became interested, and they are not now selling our products also. We have a lot of physiotherapists, homeopathic doctors, gynecologists who are recommending our products to their customers, to their patients. The third bit is of alliances. Again, as I mentioned, menstrual care, there's a lot to talk about. Education, awareness karna is also essential. If I was selling a mobile phone, all of this was not essential. But because I'm selling something that's so intimate and menstrual health just generally doesn't get talked about more, we have space for creating conversations. And that is why we thought of getting in touch with educational institutions, corporates, NGOs to do menstrual health sessions and also sell our products along the way. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask, interrupt and ask. That's not a problem at all. So now we talked about one basic thing, that how you decide on the value proposition. Where are you actually going to create 3 levers where you create value? Now, the second important aspect is about the customer development. I'm talking about product, but what I'm doing through the product is actually getting a customer to us and then maintaining that customer, keeping them to us. So most of us think that product development is about what we feel is essential or what we feel will get sold in the market. But what it essentially is just listening to customers, listening to people who are actually going to use it. So what is this? It's a simple process of developing a product wherein you search for ideas, you have your own ideas in place, you discuss with people, you get the customer validation for your product. And once you have some primary 2, 3, 5 things in mind, you then get into the execution mode. So I'll give you an example here. The pink product that you see in the middle, the pink pad, that was our first prototype that we launched in the market. Okay. Now, I told you I have been using cloth pads. I thought many people will use. So what I did is, when I was developing a product, I knew fair and square what are the kind of features that anybody would want to have in a cloth pad. So it should not feel wet. It should not leave stains. It should not leak, because normally when you just use cloth, there is chances of leakages and staining a lot. Then it should be good to look at also, convenient to wash, convenient to dry. And hygiene is a very, very important factor when you talk about cloth. So these are some things which I knew I wanted in the product. I also spoke to a lot of people, a lot of my friends. And what I did is, for the first 1.5 years, I took a lot of sessions in schools and colleges as an educator, as a menstrual educator. I used to take menstrual education sessions there. And I used to take their feedback on what kind of product they would be interested in using. If it's a cloth pad, or if it's a disposable pad, or menstrual cups, or anything, what is their interest? When I spoke about cloth pads to a lot of people, they came up with their own feedback. They were telling me this is the feature. They are worried about hygiene, how to wash. It is very difficult to wash. It's blood. I can't look at my own blood and wash it. So these were so many things that people kept telling us, and we started incorporating them. So yes, making a pad, choosing fabrics was one difficult part. The second difficult part was taking care of the hygiene part. So we incorporated an antimicrobial technology. So this actually is first of its kind in India, where a cloth pad has an antimicrobial technology which makes the pad self-disinfecting. So we incorporated just these 2 important factors. Hygiene is one, so antimicrobial technology needs to be incorporated. And the second thing was, it should be easy to wash. That is the first thing that everybody is looking at. Easy to wash, and it should not retain any stains. If these 2 things are taken care of, then the cloth pad will definitely get liked by most of the people. So we just kept working on these 2 parameters. We chose fabric, specifically technical textiles. They gave dry feel at the top. They did not leak from the bottom, but it was very easy to wash, no stains at all, and antimicrobial. So this is the first version, very basic version that we had launched in the market. When we started selling, we kept getting a lot of feedback. We also wanted to improvise. So with improvisation, we launched this current version. So the pad that you see on the right side is our current version. The design of the pad is something that's very specific to give a better coverage. The pad doesn't move from its place. It has we've specifically kept 2 buttons there. The fabrics that we've selected are much more good quality. The first pad had synthetic fabrics. This one has organic cotton fabrics. There are colors. There are 5 sizes. The initial pad only had 2 sizes. Now we have 5 different sizes in the pads. So this is something that we did just 3 months back. 1 year and 4 months into business, we launched our second version, looking at the response that we got from the people and their feedback. So of course, our helpline definitely helped us a lot here. So when you talk about product development, it is more about, yes, we need to have our own thoughts, but we need to listen to the customers, what they are saying. Sometimes we have to come to a middle ground where something that we want to do, but something that the customers want, and we will need to create a product which suits both of them. So it is essential that you launch and develop a very basic low frills version first, put it out in the market, take customer feedback, and then using that feedback, you build better and you grow the brand or improvise on the product. What happens most of the time is, and I speak to a lot of people who are wanting to become entrepreneurs, want to develop products. Most of them are, I have to develop the best version of the product. This is not as per the mark. This is not the final product. This is not perfect. This is not perfect. What happens in this process is, what you think is perfect might not be perfect to the customer. The customer is okay with, so it's like that. If a market is wanting to use Maruti Alto car, you are trying to give them a Mercedes Benz, which they do not want. It's a very feature loaded product, plus it is very costly. So in the process of making the best product, you are also increasing the price of the product, which the customers are not comfortable with. They do not want a 600 rupees pad with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 features. They want a 200 rupees pad with 1, 2, 3 features. That's it. They're happy with it. If we keep improvising without going to the market, then it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money. And sometimes there are high chances that you fail at the product because people did not want that Audi. People were happy with the Alto. So you should have sold the Alto. That is what happens sometimes. So this is our current version. Same antimicrobial technology and easy to wash and stains is something that we have retained. Fabrics are more premium. There are attractive design patterns, attractive colors, and we will be launching more colors and designs going ahead. Third important point is agile development. So you you have three different things going on, small micro battles going on at different places, and then you see which one is working, and then you tweak accordingly. So if you see on the left, this diagram is a very famous chart about developing a minimum viable product. You take customer feedback and go ahead. It's just that the 3 different loops that you see are 3 different battles that are going on at the same time. So I've put down an example here. When we launched with a very simple WordPress website, which had basic landing pages, basic e-commerce features. So what I was able to put photographs and information about the product, and people could read it and buy. That was the only thing that used to happen in that website. Very basic, simple. 1 year into the market, when we saw that, okay, things are looking nice, we can scale up from here. Then we went ahead to an agency, got a proper Shopify loaded website from them. Lot of functionality, lot of advanced features, which is the current website. So if you just check out www.myavni.com, you will see the current website, which is heavily loaded with functions and features. You can subscribe a product, you can customize, you can leave reviews and everything. Now, WordPress website, for building that, we spent not more than 40 to 45,000, maximum 50,000, I would say. the Shopify website, the current website that you will see, we have spent close to 4 lakh rupees in that website. But we did that once we had some revenue coming, once we were also comfortable that, okay, this can be scaled up. So let's launch the product. We used very minimal and low cost material, brown color recycled paper packaging, because it looked good, it looked rustic and with the brand ethos. It was available, we had to do with that. Again, different pilot which we ran beginning while we were just starting up, but then we had to stop that and focus on other things. So this basically is to just put everything in one place. Whatever we have spoken till now is how do you talk about a lean startup and how traditional businesses particularly look like. So the strategy for a lean startup is always on a business model thing. You don't have a fixed set or a fixed plan in place, which you have to keep following. You always have to keep evolving. It is hypothesis driven. New and new hypotheses come in place, and you have to work accordingly. When we began, I thought that we were working with urban women. We were targeting urban women, but 1.5 years down the line, now we see more and more women from tier 1 and tier 2 cities coming in place. So now we are making our marketing content also in regional languages like Marathi or Hindi or some South Indian languages. So this is how hypothesis driven things are normally. The new product process, we have talked about it in much detail. It's always based on hypothesis, always based upon customer development. You are not developing products particularly, you're developing and nurturing customers actually. It is always agile. You have to build things iteratively and keep improvising on them always, all the time. What benefits for a startup is because we are so lean and nimble that I can do experiments. So for example, in my market, I can do certain experiments which a Whisper brand cannot do because I'm small. If I have access to funds, I'll be able to do such experiments with much better speed than Whisper can, because Whisper is a big brand. They can't jeopardize their own market or cannibalize their own market by developing and doing such simple small experiments. We looked at financial reporting, wherein the metrics that matter are not profitability. It is about how do you acquire more customers, how do you talk to them, how do customers talk to you, how viral do your products get, how do people talk to you or talk about you to their friends. Failure is always expected. So you always be ready for expecting a failure. But if things are looked at from a point of view of making them successful, you take really specific steps, focus steps, then the chances of failure specifically go down. So this is the last slide actually. And this is some specific learnings which I want to put forward based on my experience. Is it's always about the customers. You have to listen to them because they know. A lot of people, we think that, okay, we are experts into this subject matter. So how will my customer know? I should know better. But most of the times, because your customer is actually using the product, they know that what they want, they know what is working for them. And if things are not working for them, they come out in public and social media and talk about you in a very negative way. So the second point is action definitely is superior. As I've been mentioning this since the beginning, that a lot of us wait for putting those business plans in place. I put it down on paper, I have to write it, I have to do proper research. But most of the times it's just about getting some minimum viable product in place and putting it out in the market for people to buy. These days, it is very, very easy for us to sell things. You don't necessarily have to have a very high fundu and a very heavily loaded website. You can just make simple landing pages and integrate it with a payment gateway and start selling. It's very easy these days. So frugal approach is essential. You don't have to build everything right from the day one. You can just take things up gradually. The next point is a very, very important point, which we see losing track in the startup ecosystem these days, is about profitability. These days, finance or investors are so easily accessible that we think that we can attract investors, put in a lot of money, pump in money, and then eventually kabhi to profitability aayega. But that is not the case. You need to have a plan in place since day one. How do you build profitability in the business? Okay, everybody knows it is not going to happen in the first 3 years or 5 years, but 6th year or 4th year, it has to happen. And for that, you have to start building things right from the day one. It doesn't happen eventually ki haan dekh lenge baad mein how will I turn the company profitable? Because eventually starting a business is about making money for you as a founder, or for the investors, or for the employees. So unless and until you have profitability, nothing is going to work out. The last important point is a personal benefit that I've seen is building your own personal network, staying connected. LinkedIn is very handy these days. In fact, I got connected to the professor here, Dr. Vividha, on LinkedIn only. So it's very essential to stay connected, at least in your zone of expertise or your zone of interest, so that you keep getting updates and things become more accessible. So tomorrow, when you want to approach somebody for some help or some some kind of help for your startup, you can do that if you have a professional network that is in place. So I have been active on LinkedIn since the last 12 years. That long a time it has taken for me to build whatever has happened on LinkedIn, which I am reaping the benefits of now in my company. So thank you. I hope I've completed well within time. I'll stop sharing the screen now, and then we can take up questions.
The session is open for question and answer. Participant delegates, if they are having any doubt, they can discuss with ma'am. She's open. She's own venture, running own venture. She will be the ideal person to answer. Yeah.
Participants, please ask the questions. If you have the questions or if you have any other viewpoint to discuss, please ask the questions. You can unmute yourself.
And you can ask the question. Yeah. Forum is open for question and answer.
Sujata madam.
Yes.
I just wanted to know that have you tried to go for Shark Tank India?
We haven't applied for Shark Tank India because somehow I'm not very comfortable with that route of investment. So we have been raising funds in Abhi since last year. So we have access to investors just generally without Shark Tank India also. So maybe in the next few seasons, when the investor profiles are much more lucrative, we'll look at going there.
They want to expand their business and they want to enter into Shark Tank India after expansion.
Early stages, it's a little difficult because it kind of take a lot of equity, and the deals, to me at least, don't look very lucrative. And when we have access to investors, from my experience, so why give away that much equity?
But I guess you can get more publicity from that platform. Even I mean, that's up to you to whether to agree with their deal or not. But at least you can get a lot much publicity for this one.
Yes, definitely.
And it is a great social initiative, as I said, from both the aspects, from women healthcare as well as from environmental point of view also.
Correct.
Though you're smaller one, the owner is thinking their organization is smaller one. Dilip Sangway is the owner of the giant organization Pharma. Though he's feeling that my organization is smaller one, though it's a giant organization. It's a perception of each and everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm having some questions. How you are dealing with the peoples, though you are dealing with urban people, the peoples living in tier 1, tier 2 city, tier 3 city, how you are dealing with the people? They're asking many questions, many doubts. So how you're keeping your patience, how keeping your calm while answering them?
This is something which, so earlier I used to get a little worried, and I used to get a little irritated at times with the amount of questions, and the people used to ask simple silly questions all the time. But now I have kind of gotten used to it, and I've started to deal with it. In fact, that has actually helped me become more patient. So I have to give them the credit that as an individual I have become more patient because of those too many questions.
Those too many questions.
Yeah, so it's good in a way. And now we have a team to answer the question. So a lot of people are answering, so the burden doesn't fall on just one person all the time.
Yeah, and you're having the critical format is ready along with you. If the people is asking this question, what should be the answer?
Correct.
Yeah, you are having everything is ready along with you. My second question, how digital platform help you in the COVID era, because you launched into the COVID? So how will help you in the COVID?
Actually, digital platforms are the only ones who have helped us during COVID, because people were at home, either working from home or everything was happening from home, right? Shopping, gaming, everything was happening from home. So people were more open to buying things online. And that is how it helped us to reach them, and people bought the products. So digital platforms, as I mentioned also, I thought about having women as ambassadors for selling the product, but that was more of a offline thing where I had to connect with people, I had to motivate them, but that was not working. In fact, the online channels worked better for us at that time.
Okay. And one more, and one of the serious question in today's era community, as we are hearing from many days, many years, we are hearing the college dropout girls, college dropout student, or the school dropout students are increasing and increasing as you are creating the awareness into the educational institute. So how you're dealing with this fact?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question. Is it?
Yeah, how you are dealing with the question? Yeah, how you are dealing with, because the college and the school dropout girls are due to the menstrual dropping out, they are not going to the school. How you are dealing with this? How you are creating the awareness?
So about this, our primary source for creating awareness is the NGOs or people, frontline workers who are directly in contact with rural girls. So we are partnering with a lot of NGOs. Last year, actually, when we started, it was COVID second wave, first wave going on. Even at that time, we got connected to a lot of NGOs to just distribute sanitary pads. So the first few orders which we have dispatched are actually donation orders. They were not orders that we had done, because we had access to sanitary pad. We had product, kept it at our house. Then we thought that just random distribution or random donation is not going to serve the purpose all the time. So we decided to narrow down and figure out and take care of certain localities which we have access to. We cannot change everything in the entire world at the same time, but we thought, since we are in Mumbai, we take care of the localities nearby. We found out that not just rural areas, but even in urban areas, there are a lot of underprivileged sections of society. Like, for example, people staying in the chawls, or sex workers, sanitation workers, waste pickers. These are certain communities that are always deprived, always underprivileged. And they stay in urban areas. So we thought, let us take care of them. So we introduced our impact project, Project DAG, last year in May, where we collaborate with NGOs across India, and we take menstrual health sessions for them, and we donate products. And the monies that go for procurement of the product comes from our profit. So 8% of our profit goes into this Project DAG. We also run fundraising campaigns with NGOs, a lot of NGOs, on platforms like Donate Card or Impact Guru, where people fund us. Just general crowdfunding happens. So we get access to money, and then that we use for donations. So we are involving people more.
Yeah, means you're doing along with the emerging organization as a CRS, part of the CRS.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great initiative you are doing at the moment, because it's need to be done in order to increase the dropout, in order to decrease the dropout girls. because this is one of the main reasons in the rural areas. One more question I'm having, how the survey help you in your startup? You're carrying out the various surveys.
So surveys we specifically did to one, get an idea about the product fit. So if, for example, my hypothesis was that we can sell cloth pads, but I needed to check with people who are going to use also from different age groups if they were comfortable with such an idea. If they were use a cloth pad, what kind of cloth pad would they be comfortable using? What are the features they are looking at? What are their worries, fears while using a cloth pad? So our surveys helped there. Our surveys helped us to identify what we need to communicate to get them interested in the product. So that is another aspect which helped us from the surveys.
Yeah, correct. The same aspect, the survey aspect help us in one of the studies in the contraception. So we designed one of the patch and we surveyed in the lot of women, and they give the feedback regarding the colors, regarding the shape, regarding the size and everything. This definitely help us. And last question, how you tackle up and down in the business? This is one of the big thing. We want to have the up and downs in the business. How you're tackling?
The ups and downs of the business. See, I would say ups and downs of the business is nothing very different from the ups and downs we normally see in life, in relations in life. So it's very similar. It's just that the nature may be different or the issues may be different. We normally face issues where there's a financial crunch. We have a lot of ideas to implement and we don't have money. So finance becomes an important part. So it's very similar that how do you manage, and things have actually come with experience as this is my third venture. If I compare myself 5 years back when I started my first venture, I was a very different person. Now I'm a very different person. The way I handle situations is in a very different way. So some of this comes from experience also. Like it happens in life, with experience you learn a lot.
Yeah. But when the money is involved, person is more worried about the money because person loves the money a lot. Yeah. That's the thing.
So that is actually where the network, the professional network that we've been building, that actually comes in place. Because I knew at least when I started Avni, I knew that I have access to some investors and then I can take it forward from there. In my first venture, I had no access to anybody. So I had used LinkedIn actually very aggressively at that time to get in touch with people. So.
Okay, thank you.
There was one question actually in the chat box.
Yeah, I can see.
Which type of Malti Sarunke, which type of problem you faced when you decided to start your own setup? So problems actually were many. I will specifically talk about starting Avni or selling cloth pads. I'll talk about that problem specifically. Is when we decided to sell cloth pads, it was tough for us to get people convinced about using a cloth pad. Why they should use a cloth pad and not a disposable pad, why they should sit and wash their pads. So this was a problem that we faced initially. And for solving that, we had to do a lot of things. One, we had to specifically do marketing campaigns, answering so many questions. The helpline was one reason why we started this, because when we communicated to people and told them that it was easy, they were okay using it. So this was one important problem which we faced while starting this venture, this setup up. And that is how we decided to take care of that. So it actually all depends upon the problem, and that is different for different startups. So you tackle them differently. Okay. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, if any more questions are there, participant or delegates can ask the question. No more questions, we'll summarize the talk. Okay, I will summarize your talk, ma'am. We started with some of the questions. You started differentiating between what is the large organization, what is the startup. Then you discuss about the strategies. Then the business canvas model with your own experience, your own venture, Avni, how the 9 modules help you a lot in designing the website, doing all the things which is related with the startup. Then again, we discuss the customer development. That is the customer satisfaction is the primary thing you have to keep in mind when you're starting any kind of the business is there. The satisfaction of the customer is the most important one. Again, you discussed regarding the agile development, which include how to design the website, how you moved from the WordPress to the website using some of the organization for building the website. Again, we discuss the packaging, discuss the lean startup in the traditional, what is the difference between the lean startup and the traditional startup businesses there. And again, you discuss at last your personal experiences. Key points need to be keep in mind when you're starting any kind of the businesses. So this is overall your own story. So thank you so very much for sparing valuable time and giving a nice session on your own experiences. That feels good when the person is experienced speaking by using their experiences. So it's nice to hear you. So as a token of love and appreciation, excuse me, ma'am. Yeah, as a token of love and appreciation, this is certificate of recognition from Vividha Dhapte deemed to be University College of Pharmacy. Thanks a lot for sparing valuable time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah, same to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Rajput sir, for excellently chairing the sessions with
so
much questions. So I think that will be an inspiration for all the participants to ask the questions. So instead, we prefer having a discussion, interactions more with the speaker. So that is more profitable for us also to understand the concepts properly.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the opportunity. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Just stop recording.
Yes, sir. For us. So you can, one by one, you can unmute yourself and you can introduce yourself, unmute and also start the video. So the STC participants, students, if they want to continue, they can continue, or if they want to leave the session, they can leave the session. It is not mandatory for the students.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is Dr. Abhijit Kulkarni from Sanjoni College of Pharmaceutical Education and Research. I'm currently working as an associate professor in Department of Pharmaceutics. And I'm handling here as an innovation ambassador and coordinator of IICSL also. So willing to participate in this session and looking forward to have fruitful sessions hereafter. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Can we have another participant? Request the participant to please introduce themselves. Yes, Kavita, madam. Madam, you are muted. Unmute yourself.
Now, am I audible properly? Okay, so myself, Dr. Kavita Gajbhie, Assistant Professor in Pune College of Pharmacy, Department of Pharmaceutics. So, my area of expertization in nanotechnology, targeted drug delivery systems, and nanomedicines, cancer targeting. And this is great opportunity to for us to attend that type of FTP or that type of STP program. So many new ideas regarding the startup and innovations and all. So thank you so much, Vividha madam, for giving me opportunity to attend that type of program. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kavita ma'am. Yes, Joy ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon, madam. I am working as an associate professor in HK College of Pharmacy. and I am coordinator in Skill Development Program and the Industry Institute Partnership Cell. And I am joining this course so that I could have some knowledge regarding the skill development program and all that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. The next participant, please. Yes, sir. Please continue. Sir, you have been muted. Please unmute yourself. Hello, sir.
Myself,
Yes, sir.
Dr. Pradyumna Ige, Professor in Pharmaceutics, Pratibha Pawar College of Pharmacy, Srirampur District, Ahmednagar. Actually, I have joined this course to some overview on the for a startup. I will get some highlights, some ideas to start this. So I'm thankful to organizer. I'm thankful to the coordinator. I'm enjoying this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. The next participant. Yes, madam, please.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
So we are very fortunate to Pune College of Pharmacy. Myself, Dr. Nandvi Mathure. I am working as assistant professor in pharmaceutics at Pune College of Pharmacy. Actually, recently I have joined the Pune College of Pharmacy. So I am very fortunate to be a part of such an nice STP. Because in this STP means from morning we had heard a lot of things about the startups. So I'm very thankful to Vividha ma'am and Pune College of Pharmacy to be a part of this startup and healthcare STP. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Can we have another participant?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Myself, I'm Krishna Kumar Lone, and currently I'm working in JSPM Rajesh College of Pharmacy, Thathavadi, Pune. And it is the need of, in this corona pandemic, that the students as well as the lot of peoples, they have lost their jobs, and it is the need to think about the startup. So in this situation, it is the need to having the knowledge about the startup, and it is I'm very thankful to you and Pune College of Pharmacy that they have arranged the STP on this startup. Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, Manisha, madam.
Yeah. Good afternoon, one and all. Myself, Professor Manisha Chauhan. I'm working as an assistant professor in JSPM. And as a part of training and placement cell, we would like to guide the students. So definitely, I feel this FDP will be helpful to me as well in order to guide my students and give some valuable information, like as well as giving them information about some government institutes which are really helping, such as today's chief guest, Mrs. Professor Anupama Pawar. She was from such institute. So I would like to thank the organizer PCT as well as Vividha ma'am for organizing such a informative and useful FDP for all of us. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Next participant, please.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. First of all, good afternoon to all the respected and dear ones. And thank you so much for confirming our registration for this FDP, ma'am. The time which I attended the QIP in your college. So I'm Mrs. Sujata Pawar, Assistant Professor at Siagarh College of Pharmacy, Vadgaon, Pune. And in our college, I'm handling the training and placement cell, and also I'm one of the member of Institute Innovation Cell of SCOP. So in that, I'm handling the startup, and also that's why this is my purpose to join this FDP. I hope I will also get and more knowledge from the same, so that I can also guide my student, because the startup and all these things are really practically it is very difficult as a teacher, because I'm also having a 13+ experience, but never thinking about the startup and all these things. But I thought this is the need of today's era. So that's why I joined this FDP. So thank you so much, ma'am, for giving me the opportunity to join the same. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. That is the same with all our faculty members, since we want to help the students, but since we don't know how the process goes on actually. So that's why we have roped in many founders for different startups. So how to get the funding, like there are different fundings under TBI, Nidhi, Atal, and so how to approach these people, how to get connected, how to get collaborated. Maybe even in your interactive session, what is expected that you can, at least if you have something in mind, you can have some projects with them. You can have some MFAM person working there. So we can have some collaborations with them. So use this platform not to just ask the questions, but you can also collaborate with them with your ideas. So it has to be interactive in that way. You can also take some guidance, like how to get the funds. Even sometimes you may not get the funds. There are some loan proposals also. So how to go with the different loan proposals, what is the rate of interest in that special scheme for startups. Like the recent budget, it has made a separate provision for startups also. So these people are quite aware, because they are into the serious business of startups. So they can be really a helping hand for all of us. So like I wish that all of us, we should have an interactive session in this aspect. So it's not about only question answer, but whatever doubts in general for any startup we have, we can have in this coming sessions. Thank you, Yogyata ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Another participant. In the morning, madam has informed about different schemes. So we will also be sharing those things with you, the contact person, and of course the different schemes, what they had said. So that can be helpful for you to share with your students. So in coming sessions, we are going to have different type of founders, some regulatory specialists also. So if we really have some ideas working, you can discuss with them, and contact numbers also with you. Only thing is, they and all of them, Like I had personal, for this session, since the theme is altogether different, we have most of them as founders, and all of them have are doing profitable business, that too in the healthcare sector, and that too in the Corona period. So really, it is going to be useful for all of us. Whatever help in terms of guidance document they are going to send us, we will also share with you people. As a in the final on the final day, I will mail those documents with all the faculty members of this STC. So I thank all of you for attending today's sessions, and we will be having 4 different sessions. So that schedule, already the complete schedule is shared with you. There might be slight fluctuation depending on their availability. So I will keep you updated on our WhatsApp group, whatever changes are there. So tomorrow's sessions will be posted to you. The link will remain same. Now for this session, whatever link is being shared, it will remain same till the end. Only for validity function, we are going to have a different link. For attendance, in the day, daily attendance will be considered, and of course the system generated attendance is also considered. So both ways we are monitoring the attendance. So kindly attend the sessions as per the norms of AICTE. Your attendance, 80% attendance is mandatory, along with 60% passing mark in the final exam, that is on the 12th of Feb in the afternoon. Okay, fine. If anybody wants to introduce and interact in this platform, for the other participants, because we just had 9 participants interacting. So I request the other participants that please, if they want to introduce themselves, so that we can have a better feel of going together in this journey of learning about startups. Yes, Shinde sir. Okay, fine. We will end the session for today, and tomorrow we will be meeting at 9:45. The link will be open, and all of you please join 5 minutes before the actual session, because we have all the sessions back to back tomorrow, 4 sessions in one complete day. So please try to log in on time so that we can cover the sessions on time. Any other query you're having?
Hello, ma'am. The link you have shared on the WhatsApp group, it's for attendance or something like that?
Right now?
Some link is there on WhatsApp group?
Yes. Link for attendance, today's attendance.
Okay. And okay, yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Feedback we will be taking on the last day itself.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Manisha ma'am. Thank you. Okay, fine. We will be ending up the session. Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow.